Bobby, welcome to Neo Muna.
I'm out.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. This was Destiny 2 Lightfall. We'll catch you later. No. Bobby, this is Destiny 2 Lightfall, a game that you love. You love Destiny 2.
I wish Destiny 2 loved me back.
See? You know who likes Destiny 2?
Who?
Cool Thulu.
Cool Thulu.
That's just great. I appreciate that name. That's a good name. Anyway, yes, we are here. We are on Neptune. This is Neo Muna. This is me. And this is the new area. This is the new expansion for Destiny 2.
The new hotness.
Yeah, similar to Beyond Light or Shadowkeep or the Witch Queen. This is the brand new one. It is
What's
called
this set you
Lightfall.
back?
It's a great question.
I think I'll look it up. I think it's $50.
Yeah, you might be right. So it is an expansion. It is a year of content. You'll get what is it, 3-4 seasons? During this.
You can do $49.99 for Destiny 2 Lightfall, or you can do Destiny 2 Lightfall plus the annual pass, and that will set you back $99.99.
Right. Yes, the annual pass gets you the I believe it's 4 seasons over the course of a year, and gives you access to all that content. Anyway, so we're here on Neptune, as you saw in probably some of the trailer stuff. This is a new place. This is a new kind of. It's not a race exactly because there's only 2 of them. There's a Sith style thing of there can only be 2, but they're nice guys. These are the Cloud Striders. This is Nimbus. He's the younger, brasher one, and then there's Rohan, who is a grumpy boy, but he's like the old veteran dude. And
So he's your Osiris type person.
Osiris is actually here too. He's back over there.
Okay.
But so we come here with Osiris to Neo Muna. We learned this from the Witch Queen, and now we're trying to prevent Callus from finding the Veil, Callus and the Witness. So Callus was the first raid boss in Destiny 2, and the Witness is the smoky head guy who is kind of our big bad guy right now. Rohan, by the way, this is Nimbus, but Rohan, the older guy, he's only 1 week from retirement, so I'm sure nothing bad will happen to him. I've actually already finished the campaign. I know exactly what happens. Anyway,
let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go for it.
What race is that person?
So he is called a Cloud Strider. Basically, they're just like Silver Surfer dudes. He's got that kind of thing you see on his back there above his shoulder. That is his. I mean, he's sitting on it now. That's basically his surfboard.
Okay.
And these guys have been modded out to kind of be a protector of Neptune.
So this is not like a your vault and stuff isn't here, right?
It actually is. Shit. Here, I'll go back up. Yeah, like this is kind of a nice quality of life thing that they've added here, but when you come to Neptune, there is absolutely an extra vault and an extra post box. So you can come right over here, and I can switch out my weapons, and I can grab stuff from the post box. I've got too many of these keys already, so I can't buy more of them. Or take more of them. So that is kind of a nice quality of life thing. This is a chill part of the zone. We can show the map here. It's got kind of 4 real zones to it. We're here right now. Back up here is where Osiris is. We don't really need to see him. There's nothing to show there. But this is the area. Let me drive through a little bit and tell you a little bit about what's going on. Also, here's a cool thing. There's no fall killing anymore. You'll take fall damage, but it can't kill you anymore. That's a super nice thing. They took away physics deaths.
Everywhere. The whole game.
Yes, everywhere. So like if you get booped by something, I mean, you'll still get killed by a train that's hitting you or something like that. If somebody hits you with a sword and makes you go flying because of the physics, you can't die from that, which is nice.
That is nice.
Anyway, we are on Neptune. It's got some sparrow sections connecting the two places, as is per usual. And it looks nice. It's it's Bungie. They got some nice skyboxes.
Yeah,
There's some,
they've been kind of going for this aesthetic for a while now. It's not quite cyberpunk, it's not quite Tron, it's somewhere in between all that.
yeah, there's something to it. I think it looks pretty cool. One thing you might notice is that there aren't any fucking people here.
Yeah, that
I mean,
is strange.
there's some enemies over here, but there's no, like, this doesn't really feel. I mean, it feels like a place that was lived in, but no longer. So
Man,
why don't I
it's
try
reminding
to-
me a lot of Titan, that one area in the back of Titan.
Yeah, a little bit. So here's one of the Neo Mooney. Look at him. Look at him. That
Wait, that's what
so
the one dude up there was, right? No, that's not. Never mind. That's
no,
the
he's a
Cloud
Cloud Strider. Yeah,
Okay.
these are just the people of Neptune. They're all in like some kind of cryogenic. We downloaded our minds, so we don't have to worry about our bodies. Apparently, they all did this in anticipation of the attack that is happening by Callus and the Witness here, and that is their story reason for why there's nobody around. But it does kind of make the places feel a little dead and empty. But
Yeah, that's a convenient little MacGuffin that they've built into why they're not there.
But they've mostly replaced that with just more enemies. There's a lot more enemies around.
Well, yeah,
and,
because Destiny, they made Destiny hard again, apparently.
They did. Normally, these guys would go down pretty quickly, but they take a few more shots now.
So that's how
you
difficult.
die a lot more often.
They make
Yeah.
people stronger. That's difficulty, baby.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Chase,
I think it's okay.
I should just interject really quick if I could.
Please.
You made a joke about my favorite game. I have played a lot of Destiny 2.
That's true.
I've played a lot of Destiny. I have stopped playing, and that's been...
You got out.
I got out. That's been something we talked about on our podcast, The Casual Hour, for a while now. So I've got a pretty good history with the game, but I got out on the Witch Queen. So this is... I believe this is the first time I have not purchased, like, the big thing from Destiny.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So you're missing out on a couple cool things, like this bow. Oh, shit. Ah, you wasted my clip.
That's Destiny, baby.
That is Destiny, baby. It's Destiny now, anyway. So this is a new exotic bow that I'm using. It's called the Verglass Curve. So let me get another kill here, and I can show you what's cool about this thing.
How many hours did you have to grind this one out for?
None. This is, if you buy the annual pass, it's like Wither Horde or some of the other ones.
Okay.
You get it immediately. It's right here. Boom, you got it.
Okay.
So you get this immediately, and I need to find somebody to kill. Oh, they're all over here now. This is a new activity that we're doing called Terminal Overload. It's not quite a public event, but it just kind of happens. It's actually more like what happened on Mars. Do you remember the...
I do. I know what you're talking about.
The horde mode kind of thing, the extinction, whatever the hell.
Yep.
So it's kind of like this thing where anybody can trigger this, and now people can join and come in and play it like it's a public event. Come on, I just need one actual kill. Okay, I've got him. So you see on the left of my screen, it says Hail Barrage ×3.
Yep.
I can actually get that to ×5. Let's see if I can do that without dying. There we go. So now it's at ×5. Now I can shoot out a bunch of stasis crystals with the hip fire.
That's cool.
It's really cool for some builds if you want to do stasis builds. But who wants to do stasis when I can do this? Whee!
Spider-Man.
Yeah!
Is that
And I can
infinite?
do this. No, it's so that replaces your grenade. It's called a grapple grenade.
Okay.
So a little bit, there are other strand grenades that you can use as well, but this is the new subclass. It's called Strand. It deals with strings and shit like that. Yes.
Death Stranding. I'm familiar.
Yes, this is the best new Strand game of 2023. But Strand has a couple cool things that you can do. You can make... Oh, I guess it just popped. I'll get another one here. But I can do this. I can suspend enemies like that.
Oh, that's
and now
cool.
they are kind of frozen in place. I've got the grapple stuff that you've seen here. You can actually get like a free melee if you come off a grapple in the air.
Is the grapple grenade only for you, or can you use that from an offensive standpoint, like attaching it to an enemy?
So you can kind of attach to an enemy and go to them like your scorpion, like a reverse scorpion.
Mm-hmm.
But like I mentioned with the, here I need to get the grapple grenade back again. But once I do, oh, I can also show you off this tangle. So when you kill things with Strand, you can get these tangles, which are kind of like a, they're similar to the war mines. Do you remember those? The orange balls that would show up. So you can either shoot them and pop them, or you can pick them up and throw them at enemies, and they explode that way. But like I said here, I'll try to attach to this guy over here. So I've grappled him, and now I can do this free punch, and then those can also spawn those tangles when you kill those. And so there is actually a pretty decent amount of crowd control stuff you can do with Strand. I think Strand is pretty neat. It is probably the biggest selling point of the expansion.
It's made me want to buy this. That's the only thing.
And there are a couple other grenades. There's the Threadling grenade, which kind of summons these little spider dudes to go and attack dudes for you. Or what I really like is the Shackle grenade, which does the suspending. So I also have, as the Titan here, I've got my barricade that can shoot out those things that will also suspend enemies. But I also have... I don't have the grenade charged yet. So once I get the grenade charged, I can show you that the grenade can also just suspend enemies as well.
So I remember in the Just Cause games, you have the grapple. It's like the main thing you have there, but there was the ability to
that guy.
like
He can't do shit.
tether like that. So I guess my question would be: is with a grapple grenade, could you can't like attach it to a ship that's taking off and then attach it to an enemy and do some jackass like fling them off?
You kind of can. Hunters can get a second grenade charge, so they could do that combo like that.
Okay.
But also there are some... Here, let me see if I can do this. I have never tried doing this before. I don't have any heavy anymore. But apparently you're supposed to be able to shoot a rocket and then grapple onto the rocket, and then you can ride the rocket. Or if somebody else is grappling and shooting themselves forward, I can grapple onto my own teammate, and then I can just kind of follow them into battle.
I saw somebody who was doing some move like a type of skating. I remember we used to do it with the sword, where you would like basically like keep swinging your sword and you could float across the big void. And they would essentially like the one like I always struggled to do it. If you were good at it, I could just grapple onto you and you could carry us. You know, Mario.
Totally.
3D World style.
Like I think it's actually going to be a really cool thing for raids or things where they're jumping puzzles and you can go, oh, I'm so bad at these jumping puzzles. Like, oh, just put on Strand and grapple me while I shoot over this place. And that's going to make things a lot easier.
Yep.
Anyway, let's get out of here so I can show off a couple of the other new weapons without getting murdered by these dudes.
Is that a new Sparrow for this season?
No. That's a Sparrow I've had for a couple seasons now. I just really like it. So here is, I've used it a little bit, but this is a new Neomuna shotgun. I think they all have pretty good looks to them. Here's what they normally look like. So this kind of purpley
that's cool
look to them. But I really like this specific shader on it because anything that lights up can go through gradients of colors. I think that's really cool. So there are a couple new perks on some of these weapons as well. One of the new perks on the shotgun, and they're on grenade launchers too, is called Destabling Rounds. You can cause people to become volatile. That's something that you can do with void weapons specifically. So if I were to kill an enemy with this, it would spread that volatility, which does extra damage and extra explosions to enemies. Let me show off one of these other new exotics here. This is called Final Warning. It's a Strand sidearm, so you can just kind of shoot it like a sidearm, or you can charge it up and shoot a thing of 10.
Oh, nice.
But it also has homing capabilities. So if I was anywhere near enemies, which I don't seem to be, I could kind of charge this up and mark enemies, and then they'll all these projectiles would home into them and fuck them up. It's pretty cool. I've found it to be pretty nice. This is a gun that was already in the game. It's called Quicksilver Storm. It's an auto rifle. You could, if you pre-ordered this expansion, you could get this weapon for a bonus. So it did kind of feel like you were paying to win a little bit. It was just a regular kinetic weapon, but now it has gotten a catalyst. that allows it to now become a Strand weapon. Strand is not only a new archetype for your subclasses, but it's also now a weapon damage type as well.
And
So
there
now
will
this
not
is
be a way
Strand
for anybody
weapon.
to get this gun,
There is. All you need to do is buy the annual pass now
and you'll get that.
to unlock this weapon. Yeah, so you can get this weapon too, and the catalyst opens up, and you can start doing cool stuff with this. I think this has always been a really cool gun. It's just a pretty decent auto rifle, but then as you're shooting stuff, these kind of missiles come out of it and do extra damage. And then you see it says grenades prepped 3 on the left. I can change the firing mode, and now it turns into a grenade launcher for a few shots until I go back to the regular firing mode. I think it's a really neat gun, and I think it's cool that it works with Strand now and has some extra bonuses that you can do.
Who's the manufacturer of
with
it?
Strandy things? I don't know if there is one exactly. This is more like, hey, this is a Neo Muna tech looking style weapon. So it's actually kind of similar to these other Neo Muna weapons. Like here is, well, this isn't a Neo Muna weapon, but this is another new weapon for the thing. This is a legendary Strand auto rifle. So it also shoots the green. It has a new perk. Let me show it off without getting blasted here from the sky. It's got a new perk called Hatchling. So there is that Hatchling grenade. I didn't show off, but I told you it kind of creates those little spider things. So if I kill something with a precision hit with this weapon, it creates one of those little spider threadlings that will go and fight other enemies. So see, it just popped off that green guy, and now that green guy's going to go find an enemy to attack and hurt. So it's kind of cool as well. Let me show off a couple other new weapons. This is a new exotic glaive from a new mission, a secret mission that just showed up. It's called Vexcalibur. I think it's got a really cool look to it.
It does, man.
It
This
also,
thing's really cool looking.
It also fires this kind of spread, whereas most glaives shoot like a single thing. It also has a way to kind of gain overshield when you.
Are glaives still only heavy?
No, so this glaive is in the special slot,
Okay.
but there is, and almost every glaive was in the special slot, but now there actually is a heavy glaive, and it's another new one called Winterbite. So it is pretty cool in one that it does incredible damage because it's a heavy weapon, but also when you're just meleeing, you don't use ammo, so you can just kind of get this nice heavy damage. And as a Titan, there are ways to also boost that as well. But its firing mode is also really cool, where it just fires out this slow-moving ball that then goes and freezes anything it comes in contact with. It's really cool. It's actually one of my favorite weapons that they've ever made. So I end up using that quite a bit. There's also, I don't have any bullets for it, but there's this new machine gun, and every 4th bullet. Actually, wait a minute. Nope, that's not ammo. Too bad. But every 4th bullet will hit an enemy and weaken them, so you can do more damage against them. And every 16th bullet will then make that enemy volatile. So it'll do that same thing that the other volatile thing would do, where they get explosions and you get a little bit more damage on them. It's a decent little machine gun here. I'm about to get this ammo, and then I can show it off just a little bit. So, I mean, like in most Destiny expansions, there are cool weapons for people to get and try out. So you're seeing little more explosions that come off. They have that purple goo that's on them now, so they're taking more damage from everybody around. Yeah, I know.
Nice.
It's Destiny. They're guns. Let's see. Any other weapons I can show off? I still kind of want to finish this. Here we go. I want to finish off this terminal overload thing because this is the new mission type. It has these 3 stages that you can do, and once you finish it, you get some guaranteed gear. And I think that's a nice way to get people this kind of guaranteed gear. So, Bobby, this is one of our favorite weapons. This is from Vanilla Destiny 2. It's called the Nameless Midnight.
It's so good.
A scout rifle. Just listen to it shoot.
It's a very, very good gun.
It's my favorite little stapler. It got a new perk this season called Kinetic Tremors. So now, as I continue to do sustained damage to a target, it does this shock wave of kinetic damage. So you'll see it's starting to kind of pulse off this damage. I'm not seeing it as well on that guy. Maybe it's happening, but
Sure.
here. So it's doing these kind of pulses of damage that is hurting everything around it. I think it's a really, really nice new perk. And it's only on a couple weapons, and it's on one of our favorites here, this Nameless Midnight, so I think that's really cool. We got... Get us out of here. There you go. So as you do these, you gotta damage the boss, and then when you hit different thresholds, he'll put out these nodes that you have to destroy to take his shield back down, so you can keep doing damage to him.
Nice.
It's not an especially difficult thing to do, but you know, it's. I think this is better than just a normal public event. There are also other public events on Neptune, but I think this is a generally pretty fun little system to do. And you do get some decent gear at the end of these things. And I'm going to show that off once we finish them off here, which should be quite soon. Just eat all of this damage. Eat my purple goo.
So Chase, how have you...
Or eat my green goo. That also works.
How have you found the feel of the new class to be? Because you played every class, well, mostly Titan, a little bit of Hunter there for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I've played them all. I think I think they all have pretty nice new additions to them.
When Stasis came out, I know that the meta was Warlock. What's the meta class for Strand?
Man, honestly, there's been a lot of broken stuff for every class. The hunter super is bugged right now, where it's doing double damage, and just doing this crazy amount of damage that it's not supposed to do. Titans have some really cool stuff that they can do to lock down enemies, and they can also use right now Syntheseps, which is a Titan exotic shoulder piece that strengthens your melee damage. Works in combination with the Winterbite, that heavy glaive, and that can do ridiculous amounts of damage, and you're not even using ammo for it because you're just using the melee. And then Warlocks have one of the best burst supers now with the new Strand super they can get, and they also have a number of other little gimmick things that they can do that have some pretty cool builds. There's also this little exploit that's being allowed in the game right now. You can go back and you can double/triple dip on these chests when you finish the terminal overload. So it's free stuff. It's free stuff, and it's free experience, and they're pretty easy to do. I just have to load into this next zone like I've just done, and now if I get back there in time, I can triple dip and get those
So why are you
sweet
here
loot rewards
on Neomuna?
So you are here. Oh God, that's a great question. You're here because the Witness is coming for the Witness and Callus. The Witness is sending Callus, this old raid boss. I missed it. I didn't get the third one. You're trying to stop them from getting to the Veil, which I think is maybe somewhere down here. The story does a bad job of telling you what the Veil is, because I don't know what the Veil is, and nobody knows what the Veil is. Not even the deepest lore masters of Destiny. I mean, the people at Bungie surely know what the Veil is.
Do you think that's intentional?
But I don't think it is. There's certainly been mysteries in Destiny. There's things we don't know that we're like, oh, I wonder what this is, and how does it connect to that? The story here is that Callus and the Witness are coming for the Veil. Nimbus and the other Cloud Strider Rohan seem to know what the Veil is and know that it's something that you have to keep safe, and so does Osiris. And it seems like everybody just knows what's actually wrong. I'm not going to do that mission. Everybody knows what the Veil is, and that it'd be really bad if the Witness got a hold of it. And then you see the Veil at the end of the campaign, and you still really don't know what it is. And then the Witness kind of gains access to it and does a bad thing. Let me show you. There's like a big purple hole in the Traveler now. And then it's like a portal, and then the Witness and all of his pyramid ships go into it, and then everybody's like, oh, we lost. And then people are like, well, we haven't quite lost. Like, there's still stuff we can do. And I'm over here going, what did he do? What's the veil? Why did he want it? How did that help him?
Just one person?
Yeah, he's got like a black cloak and a smoky head, and he's got a lot of influence stuff that he can do. But yeah, he's basically just one guy, and we haven't really seen anything else that is darkness exactly, except for there is a new Callus. He kind of brought Callus.
Wait,
in.
I thought Callus was dead.
And you thought he was dead, and he wasn't
Palpatine's
dead.
Callus?
Well,
somehow Callus
not exactly,
survived?
not exactly. But I mean, you have to remember, we did the Leviathan raid once. When we finished the raid,
was a robot.
You go down to he was a robot, so you didn't actually kill him. You just killed a robot version of Callus. So he's always been out there still. I'll give you a little spoiler warning. You actually kill him this time.
Okay.
So he's dead at the end of this campaign. And then the Witness is still out there. There is another new enemy type. They're called oh god, I can't remember what they're called exactly. But they're a scary new enemy that is not part of the Cabal, is not part of the Fallen or anything like that. It is a brand new enemy that is part of the Darkness, and those dudes are pretty terrifying to fight. And they provide a cool new thing to try out. The problem is you only see them very scantly during the campaign.
So when we played Destiny, we were on the tower. Tower got blown up.
Yeah. Yeah, in the original Destiny. Yeah, I mean, the tower's still here. You can go to the tower.
Okay. Because this is where
but the tower
we would meet up.
The tower's a little
right?
different. Yeah, the tower's a little different from what it is before. But yeah, the tower's
the
still
speaker dies, and the Traveler is now gone.
Yeah. So the Traveler is still here. It's here. It's just not having a great time right now. Like it seemed like it was leaving, but then it seemed like no, it was only trying to protect Earth from what was happening. And then at the end of the campaign, the Witness cuts this big hole into it and then disappears. And people are like, I don't know. The Traveler seems dead, but also it's not dead.
But if the Traveler's
we still have our
dead, then you don't have the light.
Exactly. And we still have the light. You can still die and come back to life. Like you still have your subclasses that are all the light subclasses here. Like I can be a Sentinel or a Striker or a Sunbreaker still. So the light's not gone. I don't know.
So while you're taking me here,
it's not a very well told story.
Let me ask you a serious question, and I'm not trying to be cheeky.
Please.
Why is this game sitting at a mostly negative review currently?
I think a lot of it does have to do with the story
of
this expansion specifically, in that it is... I think it's got some great cinematics. There are some really nice moments to it. But when you finish it, you go, what did I do and why did I do it? And that's a tough pill to swallow. I think part of it is, like I showed you, when you're on Neptune, it feels like kind of a dead place. It feels like there are some things in there that they kind of tried to write themselves out of a corner, like with the people, why there aren't any fucking people around. I think there's just some things, like this is a lived-in place. Like these are just some NPCs. Mm-hmm. They're just talking. They're just chatting. I can't interact with these guys at all, but this feels like a bustling area, and Neomuna just doesn't. It feels like this techie Tron-like world that is completely devoid of anything.
Wait, what's that guy doing here?
Real. So at one point we teamed up with Callus's daughter. Her name's Keitel, and so these are her Cabal, and we were fighting Callus together. So some of the Cabal are on our side, but the Shadow Legion is what Callus's sect of the...
Is that who did the Red
Cabal
War?
Is called. No, so that's a different sect of the Cabal. That was Dominus Gaul, who's like a different dude. who Callus didn't like. There's you know what? There's a shit ton of Destiny lore if you want to go back and read it all for yourself. I know you don't. I know you don't. So don't worry about it. I think let's just show you another couple quality of life things. They did change a handful of things here. They changed the way mods work. So now mods used to have little subclass symbols to them. So I'd have a piece of armor that would be a solar infused piece of armor, which meant I only had access to solar mods. And there would be some mods that you could specifically put on solar armor versus void armor versus arc armor. And so that was kind of their way of not letting you have access to all the mods at once on every character, so you could potentially make broken shit. Now you can kind of make broken shit because they've allowed you to put any mod on basically any piece of armor.
That's cool.
So it is a little bit more free form here. They've tried to get a lot more into the build crafting stuff that you can do, and to help that out, they've also added in loadouts. So Destiny has had their own official app, like an outside app from the video game that you can get on your phone. There are also other services, Destiny Item Manager, things like that, that you can use to send weapons to yourself or send pieces of armor from your vault. And that was a nice quality of life thing. But now it's kind of just in the game where I can say, this is what I want my build to be if I'm using a solar subclass. And so I can just hit this, and I've equipped, and now my character looks totally different. Even though a lot of these armor pieces are the exact same, but I have their own specific look to them when I want to be my solar titan. Or if I go to arc, I can switch to, like, this is the class I want to use. These are the weapons I want to use with this class. And it just makes them really quick to be able to switch out and go, okay, I want to do Strand. This is my setup for Nightfalls. So now I've got the different kinds of things that I need to use here. I've got my anti-barrier pulse rifle. I've got my unstoppable scout rifle here. Yeah, it's super nice. It gives you a lot of flexibility. You get more over the course of the game. I think I got to finish some solo lost sectors or something like that to get more. And I can also just build new ones pretty easily. So I can say, okay, you know what? I don't have a void one yet. So if I want to do void, maybe I'd want to have these Doomfang pauldrons. Those are more of a void kind of thing. Okay, I think the rest of this looks good. What weapons do I want? Well, I want a void weapon for sure. So let's put on that shotgun again that has the destabilizing rounds. Let's put on this void a machine gun, so now I can do more voidy shit. I need an exotic here. Let's go back with Wither Horde, even though that's double special weapons. You wouldn't necessarily want to do that, but now I could go, okay, I like this loadout. Let's save that loadout. And it saves all the mods. It saves all the weapon mods. So even if I wanted to come in here and say, oh, you know, on this shotgun, I'd rather have light mag than accurized rounds. Or I'd rather have barrel shroud rather than smooth bore. And now I can go back in and I can say, why don't you overwrite this? And now the shotgun has barrel shroud instead of that. So I can even have, if I like this shotgun, I want to put it on my Nightfall guy, but I want it to have smooth bore instead of barrel shroud. I can just have that change. So I can just equip this. Boom, I'm ready to go. I think that's a super nice quality of life thing, because there would be a lot of things you'd have to change, especially if you were going to go from a PvE environment to a PvP to go to the Crucible. So that's something I need to do, and just make a PvP build or my Iron Banner build, so I can just say, okay, I'm going into PvP. Let's change all of these armor mods and things like that. Now I can just do it at a press of the button instead of having to meticulously go through and go, okay, so I want to get this mod off here. I want to get that mod on here. And it makes things much, much quicker. So that's a really nice quality of life thing. And you can also change the names and colors and icons of these things.
It's been a long time coming.
Change this. Yeah. So I can say, oh, I want this to be my void build, and I want it to be, I'd want it to be a purple color, but it was already on purple. So it doesn't matter. There, that's purple. So that's my void build. It's a bad void build. Don't use that build. Let's show you one last thing here, Bobby. So that was all Lightfall stuff. This is all the new expansion. But at the same time, there is a new season called Season of Defiance. So while the stuff's going on at Neptune, there's also this invasion that's happening on Earth. The Witness is kind of doing this war on two fronts. And so he's captured a bunch of people, and you want to go in and save those people from Earth from this new Shadow Legion attack that's happening. I'm also going to put on my Strand build, and we'll start up this. So this is the new activity for the season. So we've had things like the Sundial and the Season of Opulence had you going back through the Opulent Leviathan stuff. This is a 3-player activity, not a 6-player, like some of those other ones have been. But this is like the new thing that you can continue to repeat to get some of the new weapons. This Perpetualis is one of the new weapons for that Strand weapon. These are Queen's Guard weapons. So this story all kind of goes around the Awoken Queen Marasav, and she's helping you to defend Earth and against the Shadow Legion that's going on here.
That sounds neat.
They're fine. You're going through some areas that you've seen before and some areas that you haven't. Like this is going to start on the EDZ, I believe. I mean, they're all on the EDZ. But yeah, so like you kind of know this area. We're gonna see another area. This is the what is this? The sludge or the
EDZ sludge?
I forgot what the place is called exactly. But you're gonna see once we finish getting past this. You're like, oh, I know this area. This is the place that Zur sometimes hangs out on the EDZ. But we start here, and then we're going to go into a pyramid ship and go to some new places. So we're going to fight some Cabal, play the video game.
Love life.
And then, yeah. But I really like a lot of the new things they've added here, especially from the build crafting standpoint and the new subclass stuff. Like being able to suspend all these dudes is really cool. It does seem cool. They've also added in some new ways of stunning champions. So we'll see some champions here in a bit, and it's much easier to stun them. Normally you'd have to have a specific weapon type to be able to stop those different champions, and those weapons would rotate each season. Now there's just going to be some things that will always stun them. So the shackle grenade that I have, the one that suspends things, anytime you suspend an unstoppable champion, they get stunned. Or if you have unraveling rounds, which is a new kind of damage type, similar to the volatile rounds, but unraveling rounds is something you can only do with Strand. Those rounds have anti-barrier capabilities, so you can just break the shields of the barrier champions. I think there's an unstoppable showing up here.
Those are always fun.
Where is he? Yeah. There's also these new shields that you see. They pop off some of these enemies, and they have that kind of oh, there he is. Shackle, bitch. Ha-ha.
That seems very broken.
So I stunned that champion. It is. There's also an exotic leg piece that I have on right now. I can show you real quick. This Ambient Leap. And it allows me to shoot off 3 of these things. Normal Titans would only be able to do 1 stream of that. And
he's
when
more
it hits
Strand than man now, folks.
Basically, I am so stranded up. Look at that. Fuck that guy. That dude's been stranded. So I think there's like some really nice things that you can do. I think the weapons generally feel not so great compared to all the cool new stuff you can do with the subclasses. I think there just aren't a lot of good combinations of perks on a lot of these new weapons that kind of bums me out. But there are a lot of really good old weapons. I can switch back to this Forbearance, which is still one of my favorite weapons of all time. It's this wave frame grenade launcher that when it kills things, it's got this perk called Chain Reaction, so the enemies explode when they die. So if you can find like a group of small adds, it just murders them all in kind of one fell swoop. It is super easy to use. I'm a big fan of that. But that's an old weapon. And it works relatively well with some of the new subclass stuff. So there's lots of things you can do. I think that stuff is pretty good. Like, look at all these motherfuckers. They ain't doing shit. Now I can pick up this ball. Now I can throw this ball. that explodes, there's just tons of explosions and shit like that. And now, once we finish off this last enemy, I can show you the new pyramid ship area that you go to.
Those things were really, I remember those were a thing and very cool.
Yeah, this was part of Beyond Light where the darkness really started to show up. You're also going to go to the what is it, the Awoken Plane? The Ascendant Plane. So now we're kind of in a dark version of the EDZ as we try to infiltrate the pyramid ship and go save our friends. And now there's going to be a bunch of taken enemies. Like I think there's a lot of neat stuff in here. It's just that the story for the initial expansion, while it is very nicely produced, it just has a bunch of plot holes that I think really bug some people, myself included. That we thought we were supposed to be getting answers around this time, and we've only gotten more questions. And it's not even like, ooh, mystery questions. It's like, hey, did you guys not think that people would want to know why we're doing the thing that we're doing?
Why are we a thing?
Like this is kind of storytelling 101. You should, like, the audience should know why they should care.
Well, especially
and we don't.
Especially for a massive expansion like this one. Like,
right, totally. Especially when you have these really nicely produced cutscenes, I'd want them to mean something. And I kind of am just looking and go, oh yeah, they really nicely animated this thing, but fuck if I know why we're doing the things that we're doing. That seems silly. So, some things that are a real bummer, when some things that I think are really cool, and that's that's the Destiny way. Some things continue to be bad while the game generally continues to be good. That's Destiny.
And do you have much of a desire, right? I know this is the new season that Strand just came out in, but do you feel like Strand is the class that you're most comfortable playing right now? Do you feel a need to go back for other classes, for anything outside of like Nightfalls and things of that nature?
For sure. Within the season, I can also show you this. Hopefully, that other guy, he's not going to like me much, but I'm just going to sit back here and show you something. There's a new artifact this season. You can have stuff. Now, these are no longer mods that you have to slot into your armor pieces. All 12 of these things are just
on
active.
Top of it.
Oh, I'm getting hit. Yeah, on top of everything else I've got going on. So this season, specifically, there are some mods that work better for Strand. So this Allied Unraveling, or this Threaded Blast, or this Multi-Siphon mod. Like, some of those things are better for Strand builds specifically, but there are also some things here for Solar classes, or for Void classes are in here. There's not too much for Arc this season, and there's not a whole lot for Stasis. So it's kind of this season, Bungie's kind of trying to say, hey, why don't you try these other classes instead, and then maybe next season we'll have something that's more suited for Arc classes, and you can have a really broken Arc build, but just for this season. So they are trying to kind of get you to try the new class, and incentivize you for why you might want to see what it's all about. But there are also really good builds that you can make with Solar subclasses or Void subclasses this season. And I also just still really love my Arc Titan.
I mean, that's been
after the last season
one of the
when they added the new Arc abilities. Yeah, it has been through this last season, because that's when they made their Arc 3.0. It's got the new Stasis style subclass system where I can go in.
Because all of them are now this way, correct?
All of them are now this way, where they have these aspects and fragments. So aspects kind of really change the way you play the game, and then the fragments give you these cool little extra passive bonuses as you play. So yes, now every subclass has that ability to kind of mix and match that way, and that's led to better build crafting across the board. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
That's nice.
Look, it's never not fun to suspend these.
That's
losers.
Every class can suspend them?
Every class has a way to suspend. Yeah, that shackle grenade. Every class has the ability to use that shackle grenade, but my class is the only one that has the ability to put out my little shield like that and get an extra.
Does the rift
an extra
for the
way to suspend?
Warlock do anything with it?
The rift can spawn threadlings now. So when you put down your rift, you throw out some threadlings, and for the Warlock specifically, if you throw out threadlings, and they can't find an enemy to attack, they'll come back and perch on your shoulder, and then they'll power up your next
that's
attack.
cool.
So you can kind of save them up and do some
I
stuff
did see a
with that.
video of somebody that built a Strand poison build for a warlock that looked very nasty.
Yeah. Yeah. Osteostriga, which is a poisony submachine gun, has some very dirty stuff it can do. With the Warlock, if you want to do more suspending stuff with the Warlock has a way to consume their Strand grenade, and then every kill they get will have a burst of suspending energy. So if you get a kill, you can suspend everything around that enemy.
God.
Kind of like an AoE suspend. So there is
That
a
almost
lot
sounds
of
like
really
more of a
dirty
support
stuff
class at
you
that
can
point
do.
in time.
Strand, I think, in general, is a very supportive
Yeah.
class. From the extra movement that you can give your friends, from my ability to just do this and say, hey, you don't have to worry about those guys anymore. They're just standing there, and now
they're
you
just
can
stranding
hit them
there
much more
Sorry,
easily.
Chase.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I can grab these balls that other people can make.
Grab the
and
balls,
throw,
Chase.
Shoot them that
Please.
way. Yeah, I know you. I know you love a good
Please,
ball
thank
grab.
you. It's time for a physical.
But yeah, I think there's a lot to like here, and as Destiny continues week to week and season to season, they'll continue to build off of some of this cool stuff. But the reason you're seeing people be very disappointed right now is because the story for this new expansion is just pretty darn.
I don't want to be. There's a lot of games right now that the writing and the story beats have been, I'll just come out and say, not great, but the gameplay is really fun, and I hope that trend. I don't know what's causing it, and I don't want to like overgeneralize or have like recency bias on that statement, but I've personally played a few games this year that I think the writing has been pretty bad, and the gameplay mechanics are pretty good, and Destiny 2's always felt better than anything when it comes to shooting. And I think that some of the stuff with Strand seems like a really good time. I've played hundreds, if not damn near 1,000 hours of this game in totality since 2014, and I could not even begin to tell you what the lore of Destiny is. So I've never been one of those guys that gets overly upset about the story beats.
Yeah. And I think that's a really weird thing too, because I think generally Destiny's story's been pretty well written.
Yeah.
Maybe not well told, but well written. Like, there's a lot of writing that you can find on Destiny 2, and I think a lot of it has really cool things about it. It's just that, it's been tough to find. It's been in the weird grimoire shit that's been separate from the game.
For sure.
Or now it's been, now it's in a bunch of lore tabs on weapons. Like, I'd have to go in and look at the I don't even know. Oh, show lore, L1. There you go. So now it's like, I can read a bunch of stuff about these weapons and learn more. I could probably learn about where Quicksilver Storm came from and whether there's a new manufacturer on Neptune that we haven't seen before. But there's so much of that writing that it becomes hard
I'm just gonna find
hard to
PDFs
care.
of it and start feeding into ChatGPT and have it tell me what the fuck's going on.
There you go. But even that, and I think that's the main problem, not the ChatGPT thing, but there is all of this lore in Destiny. It's so much lore that you'll never be able to read all of it. And yet, yes, of course. And yet, nobody knows what the fucking veil is. In all of this fucking writing, nobody ever figured out, hey, maybe we should tell the players what the veil is and why they should care. And that feels like a bit of a failing on this expansion of Destiny.
Talk about a veiling.
In that, yes, there you go.
This looks cool, man. Look, I want to enjoy Destiny again. I really did enjoy my time with it. I will be back. I don't think I'll be gone forever. But I think it's a cool, like, subclasses have always been a lot of fun. I know we got excited when they introduced Stasis and Strand. Just from this quick look, I think Strand looks a hell of a lot cooler than what Stasis was, and I enjoyed Stasis quite a bit.
Yeah.
Neat.
So this is the boss fight. This, just to kind of quickly tell you before we're not going to finish this thing, but the this boss fight is kind of cool where there's three. Or now he's going to leave with the shield, so he backs up. We kind of back him up a few different times, and then if you remember the blind well,
Yeah, I do.
From I forgot the place's name.
Yeah.
Dreaming City. So it's similar here where there's this kind of bubble that we're in that protects us, and if you go outside, the game will start hurting you. So you got to come back to the protective bubble, but also you have to go out to go get these. You got to kill these wizards here, and then pick up their motes like it was Gambit, and then you bring that back here. And you slot that in, you get this orb, and you can throw the orb at the shield. And you have to do that a number of times to get the shield all the way down so you can continue the damage phase. So you do that a couple times, and then you get to the end, and you can pick up the prisoners.
Nice.
And everything's great.
That's great, man.
So yeah, I think this is I think there's stuff to like in this expansion. But there's also a lot of stuff that leaves you scratching your head and makes you go, man, I wish that was a little bit better. And I think because Destiny fans have been waiting for a very long time to get some real answers.
Yes.
On
Yes.
some of these things, it's very annoying to have this big expansion where you feel like you're going to get answers and you're left with more questions.
That's the treadmill, right?
That
That's
just
how they
kinda
keep
feels,
coming back.
That makes
Come
you
back
feel
next
bad.
season and we'll tell you what's going on.
Yes, but like this is Lightfall. Like this is supposed to be the penultimate season, or the penultimate.
This is one more that they've
expansion, 'cause
announced,
the next
right?
expansion is called. Correct. That's called the Final Shape. That is where they've basically said that this is going to be your showdown with the Witness, and you're going to finish that fight, and then maybe there will be a different thing that we fight next, but that'll finish what they're calling the Light and Darkness Saga, which is what you're doing with the Witness. So we thought, hey, this is kind of like the last big story thing they can do before our final fight with the Witness. Maybe we'll actually learn a little bit more about what the Witness wants and why we need to stop it. And no, we just don't get that information. It's more cryptic.
They're not going to
stuff.
tell you that over the next 3 seasons, are they?
We'll probably get little stuff, but I kind of doubt we'll get a big clear answer like we want. And again, I think it's fine to have mysteries. It's great to have mysteries, but this doesn't necessarily feel like a mystery. It feels like a plot hole, and that part's a bummer.
It's fair, man. That's a fair take.
Yeah.
People put a lot of time and energy.
Do you want us to finish this? We're really close
That's fine.
to the
There's
end,
this.
so
I mean, look, like this is the game for a lot of people, and so I understand the passion of wanting to know what's going on with my game. Like this is something that people care a lot about.
Like regardless of how much I like or dislike this season, I'm gonna play a lot of Destiny this season. I just know because I've got friends who play Destiny. There's a new raid that's about to come out here real soon. In fact, by the time you're watching this, it's probably already out. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in Destiny. It's it's always been a great game to feel as you play. Like shooting these guns still feels real good. There you go. So now we just gotta finish him when he comes back down. It's hard to get too excited about the story they're telling, even though I still really like the game they've offered us.
Well, I mean, look, I just finished. We talked about it on our show this week. I just finished that Atomic Heart game, and I think the story was really dumb. I think the writing was really bad, but I had a hell of a time playing it. Thought it was a really fun game. The stuff I've liked of Fire Emblem this year has been really routed more in gameplay. I think the story and the writing's pretty bad on that one as well. But I think that there's something to be said about a well-playing video game and the full package. To deliver mechanics, story, all that stuff is hard. And this is a long-running game. I mean, a very long-running game. So keeping it current.
So sorry, one last thing. Now you have a new kind of end screen here where you can still see your match results like you did before, but now you can give these things called commendations, and you can say, hey, I think you were a joy bringer, or I think, hey, you know what, you were really thoughtful. Good job. And you can receive commendations too, and some of those things also tie into your journey here. Let me get out of here and I can show you the journey, and we'll see if they've patched something, Bobby, or we can watch this game crash, and that'll also be fun. So the new journey tab here, you can see like your triumphs that you've done before. We've talked about this. You can see your seals. They also have this new guardian rank where you can see what it takes to level up again. This is kind of their way of showing that you are an experienced guardian rather than just having your power level be so high. So now I know that I need to increase my commendation score to 750, or I need to do more solo legend lost sectors, and then I can get up to level 7, which can let me get to level 8 and so on as I continue on. But then I can also go to this commendations page, and this is where the game has broken on me every single time I've gone, so fingers crossed. Hey, it works now! Look at that. Look at that. So I can see that people have said that I was very or one person thought I was patient and considerate. I guess that's fair. A lot of people thought I was thoughtful or selfless, heroic. You know, you're always saying that I'm very heroic.
So, like, I collect playing cards, and I wonder if they would make these into an actual deck of cards.
You know what? I bet I could totally. Bungie certainly likes to sell you extra shit. In fact, when I loaded up the game, because I got the new exotic glaive here of Excalibur, I got a thing when I loaded up the game today that said, "Hey, congratulations! You completed Vexcalibur within like the first week or whatever. You've gained access to buying this new thing if you want it." And I'm like, stop selling me shit. I can't. I didn't actually see it. It might be like a T-shirt or whatever. But we also have the new raid coming up, and if you finish within the first week, 2 weeks or whatever, you can get access to the raid jacket. So that can set you back $200+ if you want.
Have you gotten one of those yet?
If you want to show people how cool you are, I did get one. I got one for the shit. What was it called? I should know. It's over here in Europa. Deepstone Crypt. That's what it's called. So I got the Deepstone Crypt one, which I think is really cool. It's a big parka that they kind of modeled on both Han Solo's big parka from Empire and also Leia's vest from Hoth in Empire. It's kind of got this removable vest that you can take out. So I think it's really cool. I think most of the raid jackets are super lame, but the one for this one, it's called the Root of Nightmares, is the new raid. It's not anywhere on the for me to show you. It hasn't shown up in the game yet, but they did show off the raid jacket, and it's like a pilot flight jacket thing. It does look kind of cool. They sometimes do some neat raid jackets, but you know that's more money I don't need to spend. Anyway, Bobby, that is Destiny 2 Lightfall. I think, you know, in the parlance of video game journalists of the early 2000s, it's a mixed bag. There's a lot of stuff to like here. There's some stuff that's really disappointing. And it's something that Bungie will continue to build on because they've continued to build on it for like 7+ years. So there's always more Destiny to happen. But thank you for joining me, Bobby. Would you like to tell the folks where they can watch more of our casual hour stuff?
Yeah, for sure. So this has been we'll call it a look, not necessarily one of our quick looks, but this has been a look at Destiny 2 Lightfall. We put out quick looks on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Central on youtube.com/casual hour. So if you found this video, one way or the other, please like and subscribe for more content like this. We do get together and play video games, much like Destiny 2, on Mondays and Friday nights at 10:30 p.m. Central on twitch.tv/casual hour. So tune in, say hi and chat, get to know us a little bit better, and join us as we explore some of these games that we make quick looks for in real time. And if you just want to hear us talk about games, which we certainly like to do, you can hang out with us every Wednesday night at 10:30 p.m. Central on twitch.tv/casual hour, where we will be recording our podcast, The Casual Hour. We're up over 300 episodes, so there's a lot to get caught up on if you'd like to get to know us better there. And then if you just want to hear the podcast, you can do that every Friday morning when we post our new episodes at 10 a.m. Central, wherever you listen to podcasts. So this has been a look at Destiny 2 Lightfall, led by the Destiny aficionado of The Casual Hour, Mr. Chase Kinnicky. And joining him is an ex-Destiny player, Bobby Peace. Thank you all.